in the pursuit of truth and common sense in an unbelievable world. You're listening to the Right Mind Podcast with your host, Todd Schowalter.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the fourth season of Right Mind. I'm glad that you're with me. I'm Todd Schowalter, and to kick things off, today is one of my favorite guests, Larry Hankin. You've seen him on Friends, you've seen him on Seinfeld, Breaking Bad, you name it. And now he has a new book out called That Guy. Larry, how you doing? Good to have you here.
Oh, okay. Now I can hear you.
Oh, that's always good. That's always good. Yeah.
Okay.
It's always a good start.
Yeah.
How you been? It's been a while.
Well, I've been writing. That's what I've been doing. I've been sequestered for a little while, about 2 weeks. I'm writing a book, so I don't know what's going on. I watch some television just to take a break. I go for a walk, but mainly I'm healthy. I'm writing, and I like what I write. That's kind of cool.
Well, one of the things you're writing is your new book. It's called That Guy. That's actually out. It's called
it's out. That's out.
That is out. That is out. And we'll tell. Okay, it was what's it called? A cautionary memoir or what?
There it is, right there.
I know it's great.
I have my own copy. See, it's got pages and printing and everything. It's really cool.
Well, that's always a good book when it has pages. I've always found that to be very beneficial. So what's in the book? I mean, it's a memoir, obviously, but
yeah, it's about me and all the parts that everybody knows me for and about. So I wrote. It's a cautionary tale in that I kind of dropped out for a while now to write this book. So I didn't retire. I just kind of dropped out. So it's why I dropped out.
Okay.
Basically, that's what the book is about. Because I didn't really have the right idea about what Hollywood was, making movies and TV. I thought it was making movies and TV, and I thought that was real.
What do you mean? You thought it was real? You mean as far as the fictitious?
I bought the whole Hollywood over thing, the whole Hollywood magic thing. I thought everything was really what you see on television and what you watch in movies, and I thought, oh, that's real. I mean, not that it's nobody flies or does those tricks, but I mean, what I mean is that I went for the glamour. I thought, oh wow, Hollywood, and it's not that. It's just real. It's real people. It's a little tiny village,
right,
in Europe somewhere. I mean, that's how cut off Hollywood is. Malibu and all that. And it took me a while to understand that it's magic. It's tricks. It's don't look up my sleeve. It's all that. I didn't. So I thought, when somebody gives you a costume to put on, to do your part, I thought I could just say, nah, I don't want to wear that. Let me see something else. That's not
sure. Well, when you say that, yeah, because you're right. I think a lot of people don't realize. I mean, that Hollywood or LA, that whole area. I mean, it's an industry town. It's just like
it's an industry. That's right.
Right. I mean, if you were in Detroit, you'd be making cars. Right. And it's an industry town, and people see, films, and they watch television, and they see all the glitz and glamour, but that's just kind of the polish over the industry, isn't it? Yeah.
So I wrote this book. I thought it's a cautionary tale for anybody who wants to be an actor or an actress. I guess even an actress is called an actor.
I think everything's the same now.
Yeah. Well, okay. So I wrote the book as a cautionary tale for anybody who wants to join the industry. I thought, it's not like this, it's like that. And mainly it's just about the business. It's not about any personal life, about my personal life, about my parents and how I grew up, and then kind of ran away from home. I didn't really, but I mean, the disconnect was very important to go away,
Well, and that's right, because we talked earlier, because you started out, you went to school to be an industrial designer.
To design cars, basically.
Right,
that's really where the money was.
Sure.
But I didn't like it. I mean, I see that's my paintings. I have paintings up there. I'm an artist, and I write. I'm a poet. But when you go out to work for somebody else, not yourself,
Sure.
then you have to. They have certain rules, and I didn't know that. Why I knew it, but I didn't care about it. I thought it was not important. I can wear whatever I want, and I can say whatever I want. No, it's you. No, say this. What's written on the page, Larry?
Sure.
Because I come from Second City and the committee, which is all improv. So I had that in my mind. I could improvise. And
oh, sure.
No, you
yeah.
can't.
Well, okay. Well, if it's a cautionary tale, so when exactly did you come to Hollywood, the LA scene? When was that? What year?
Well, actually, factually, I think it was 1972. I
Okay.
think it was right before I did Escape from Alcatraz. I went down there, and the first thing I got was Escape from Alcatraz, and that was around 1972. So that was
okay.
And see, here's what was wrong with me, and why I wrote the book. When I went down there, see, I've come from stand-up comedian and improv.
Right.
And in both cases, and I did that for 2-3 years. So in both cases, everything that I said on a stage was of my own volition and writing, right?
Okay. Sure.
Stand-up comedian, improv.
Right.
I said what I had to say. It had to fit in with the story that's going on, but I said it. And if I wanted to change it the next night, I could, and then everybody would have to make the adjustment. It was improv. Okay. When I went to do Escape from Alcatraz and other things right around that same time,
right,
I thought, well, do I have to say this? I could say it better. No, don't say it better. Just say this. Okay, I don't want to wear that. Could I wear something else? Because in improv, you just grab a hat, you put it on, and you walk out on stage. And so I thought, well, I don't want to wear this, and I would get into arguments about this with, the set designer. No, not the set, the costume designer, or the director. They weren't.
Okay, so you wanted to do your own thing, coming from that kind of.
I assumed that I could.
Okay,
that was all. And when so it started to get a little dicey as and then you learn. You say, oh no, I can't. Okay, fine. So this was all a learning process, and it took me a year or two. But by then, I was getting to be good at it. At being an actor and doing what everybody wanted me to do. So I thought, okay, now I can change things. And sometimes you could and sometimes you couldn't. And so then I would get mixed up as to when I could and couldn't. Sure. Oh, this person will let me, but this director won't. Okay, you get that straight. So over a career, all these memories of these screw-ups or mistakes, or I don't want to do that, but you have to, or I can't do that, or I don't want to. All those things made a book. And every time I did a show, I'd go home and my friends would say, hey, how was that? What did you do? And I would tell them, and it would be funny. I'd make it funny. Oh, man, I did this and blah, blah, blah. And after a while, I thought, man, this would be a great book. And everybody was calling me that guy. Oh, you're that guy in that movie. Right. So I thought, okay, there's the title.
Sure.
And I have enough stuff to write a book, and there it goes. There it went, the book.
So, okay, you've got a lot of memories, obviously. I mean, out of these, what would surprise us? Out of all the shows and films that you've appeared in, is there something out there that stuck out? We don't want to.
Well, yeah, there's a couple.
Okay,
there's about three or four, but mainly, I guess it's like the things you can get away with and the things you can't get away with.
Like
basically, what? That's it. Okay. I was, this is Escape from Alcatraz.
Okay.
And that was the first movie, and it was a really big movie. It was the first major movie I was in. I was in other TV shows, but not a movie. So I could I would, I it's just hard to put it together. The director, Don Siegel, who was great. I really admired him and we liked each other. So you got to understand that.
Sure.
No matter what a little argument on the set I got into with whoever. No, it was always friendly. In other words, I got along with everybody. It's just I didn't want to do that. So I would have to, but with Don Siegel and Escape from Alcatraz, it's just the opposite. Don Siegel wanted me to be in everything.
Okay.
Even though I wasn't in the scene or it wasn't written in the scene for Charlie Butts to be in the scene, he'd say, because I was so enamored of movies at that time. I still am, but then it was, oh man, Clint Eastwood, Don Siegel, Escape from Alcatraz. I was on Alcatraz Island. I mean, this was all new, wow,
Sure.
that was
it's
it.
huge, right?
So I was so enamored of it that I would get dressed in my costume every day. This is for 3 months. The movie was shooting 3 months on Alcatraz Island. And all my costume was, Charlie Butts, was a blue shirt, jeans, white socks, and black shoes. That was the convict's dress. So I would put that on every day, and you have to catch the boat to get out to the Alcatraz Island at 7:30 a.m. And they had all these tourist boats lined up that the movie had rented.
Right.
So there's up 10 boats. You get on the boat, you go out there. And once you're out there, the boats don't go back until at night. So you were out there, no matter
really
what.
In prison. You're on
You were
out.
in prison. You were in Alcatraz. And if your scene's shot at, like, say, 4:30 p.m. in the afternoon, you had to catch the 7:30 boat in the morning.
Right.
There was no other.
Right.
There was only one other boat. It was the noon boat for the producers.
Oh, okay.
So if they put
Big
you
guys.
so if you were late and you had to be in the shot and you missed the boats, they had to send the noon boat for you. And that was like a no-no. You could get fired for that.
Okay.
Okay, so so every day I was in costume and I would just catch the 7:30 boat and and if I didn't have anything to do, I'd just wander around looking at Alcatraz and, just exploring.
Right.
Or watching what they were doing. It was all too much for me. So every day when I was there, I would generally hang around the camera and the director to watch what was going on. Watch Clint Eastwood act or non-act, whatever he was doing. And so Don Siegel would look around and he would say, "Larry, get in the scene." And I go, "What am I doing?" He said, "I don't know. Just get in there." I go, "Why am I in there?" "It doesn't matter. Get in there." So I would get in there and I would make something up. Now, that was cool. And I was from improv and all that stuff. So when I didn't have a written scene, I could, do a little something. But since he was just telling me to get in there, I couldn't say anything because there was a scene going on.
Sure.
So I was just dressing really, or I was just filling a space. One time I said, "Why am I in this scene?" And he said, "Well, Larry, it was a Don Siegel and McGowan, I think that was his name. Yeah, they were having a scene together in front of a cell. Now it could have been anybody's cell, so there's nobody in it. So they were facing. It was a close up. In other words, two side views."
Sure, two profiles. Right.
Two profiles, right.
Right.
Okay. Hey, you've been in movies. Okay. So two
not as big as
profiles.
you.
So he said, so Don Siegel said, "Well, see, we're filming in front of a cell, Larry, and then they're facing each other. So I've got a hole right here. There's nothing going on here. Just this blank wall of the cell.
Right.
So just get in there and just fill that space. I just need a body in there. Get in there."
Sure. Right.
So I got in there, and just before I got in there, I said, "What am I doing?" He said, "It doesn't matter. Just get in there." It would be that kind of argument. "It doesn't matter, Larry. Just get in there." He was helping me be in the movie, and I'm questioning it. I mean, he was doing me a favor, and I'm not buying it. I'm not. Well, why am I in there? What am I doing? I'm trying to be an actor.
You wanted to know what your motivation was.
Yeah, and he didn't just get in. Clint Eastwood doesn't care about that. Neither he wants to just fit. Okay, motivation, right? Okay. So I said, how long do I have before I have to be in there? When you, he said, well, we're setting up the scene, we're lighting it, so you got 3 minutes, 4 minutes. I said, okay, I'll be right back. So I run down to the, I guess it was the prop department. On the island, Warner Brothers had moved in a prop department on the second floor or whatever, the main floor. So I went down to the prop department and I said, well, look, give me a checkerboard. What do you want a checkerboard for? I said, well, I'm in a scene and I want to be playing checkers. Okay, we don't have any checkerboards. That was the one thing we don't have.
Oh, okay.
Well, what do you got? I mean, okay. And I'm thinking, I'm trying to think, what am I doing? What do I do? So he said, well, we got a chessboard. Okay, I'll take a chessboard. You know, you got the pieces here? Yeah, we got it. Okay. So I get the whole thing and I run back. And meanwhile, the AD is looking for me. You know, Larry, they're setting up for you. Oh, okay, I'm late. So I go in and I set up the chessboard.
Right.
And I say, okay. And the director says, okay, is everybody ready? Yeah, okay. So they're starting to talk. You know, the scene, McGowan and Clint Eastwood. And I'm just playing chess. Well, I'm using the board.
Sure.
And in the middle of the scene, Don Siegel says, cut, Larry, come here. And I go, uh-oh, I fucked up already. He's stopped the scene. I mean, they're stars. I'm nobody. And he says, cut, Larry, come here. That's not a good sign. When they call your name on a set, it's not a good sign. Right, Larry, right. That's I've done something wrong. So he goes, he says, come here. And I go over here. What are you doing? I'm playing checkers. No, you're not. You're playing chess. You got a chessboard there. No. Charlie Butts. See, I'm already in my character.
Sure, right.
I'm going, no, Charlie Butts doesn't know how to play chess. And he went for a checkerboard, but the Alcatraz prop department, I'm not even talking about Warner Brothers. I'm talking about Alcatraz. The Alcatraz prop department doesn't have any more checkerboards. They're all out to other prisoners. So all they have is a chessboard. So I'm playing checkers with a chessboard because Charlie Butts doesn't know how to play chess.
Oh, yeah.
So the director goes, that's what you're doing. I go, yeah. Oh, I don't have to do that. He goes, no, that's okay. I just want to know what you're doing, Larry.
And everything was okay.
Yeah, and I said, so I can, he said, yeah, go ahead, do it. I just want to know what you're doing. That's all. Because it's confused me. So, in other words, that's the kind of stories that I would tell. That's in the book. Okay. That's the kind of stories. In other words, my misconception or the directors or the people's misconception of what I was doing or what I wasn't doing. In other words, those kind of things. And sometimes it would get like a little more ugly than that, but not really. I mean, I had a quote with Bryan Cranston. It wasn't. That's what happened in the news.
With Breaking Bad. That's right, because you were on Breaking Bad with Bryan Cranston.
Yeah. So in the newspaper, it came out, and when a magazine, it said Bryan Cranston gets into a argument with one of the actors, Larry Hankin. And I go, no, man, no, it wasn't an argument. It was just, I kept on going up on my lines, forgetting my lines.
Sure, yeah.
I think 3 times or something. And he got, as any actor would, come on, man. You know, remember your lines. And I go, okay, fine. So when somebody interviewed me, the guy who wrote the magazine article, I said, yeah, I had an argument with Bryan because I kept on going up on my lines, you know, and he called me on it. So that was it. Dude.
That was the big fight.
Actors have an argument. You know, that's how it appeared. So I understand. So that's in the book. So I understand now why a lot of famous people don't want to do interviews anymore. Because now I saw what I told the writer and how it appeared. Mm-hmm. They massage it to make it more interesting.
So are you saying that the press isn't truthful? Or are you saying that we can't believe everything they say?
Me say the press isn't truthful?
Wow, big surprise.
Heavens to Betsy.
Of course not. Well, you've obviously worked with a lot of people. Okay, so you mentioned Clint Eastwood, Bryan Cranston. I mean, I hate to say, well, who is your favorite? But are there some that stand out? Are there some that you thought, I'm really kind of not looking forward to working with this person, but turned out to be a pretty good guy or gal?
Well, okay, let me, because I've thought about that a lot. Now, I don't get that question a lot, but I do get it. And who's your favorite actor? And
not that.
Well, no. Well, who do you like to work with? Who did you work with the best?
Yeah,
as an actor. Yeah, and I thought about it. As a matter of recently, I was thinking about it like 2 days ago. Thinking, if somebody asked me what is, because I would just make up something because I didn't really have that in mind, but now I do because I thought about it. And it's really weird what I came up with it, but it's the truth. And that is Hamilton Camp. Now, it has nothing to do with acting, but he was an actor and I was an actor. In improv, and I know that's not where you want me to go.
No, I know. I'm just interested.
But in the committee, which was an improv group
San
that
Francisco.
broke off, San Francisco. Okay. Me and Hamilton from Gibson and Camp, they were a folk singing group. And he broke off and he came, and he was a great improviser, Hamilton Camp. And we would get on stage and we had this little set piece that we did every night. And what it was a cross, we called it the cross scene. I guess it was a cross scene, where we would take 4 different emotions, 2 for me, 2 for him. Like say, good, bad, angry, sorry. Good, bad, angry, sorry. Now I had to go in the scene. All I had to do is I had to go from good, being a good guy, to being a bad guy, or having a good temperament to having a bad temperament in the scene. And Hamilton had to go from being, I forgot what I just told you, but from being a sorry to angry, or angry to sorry, whichever way you want to go. Okay, so in the scene, I started off good and he started off angry. And in the scene, as we talked, I had to get gooder, I had to get badder, and he had to get sorrier.
Okay.
And that was the scene. Now, it seems like a very simple but strange scene. However, every night, we would have people falling off of their chairs with laughter. I mean, it was just, we never knew why it worked, but we just had a magic in that scene. If we did any other scene, it would just be an ordinary scene. But in that scene, somehow we either had transfer scene, that was the name of it.
Okay, yeah.
We had transfer down, each one of us just knew about transferring emotions and putting it into words with another person. And it would just work every night for, I think, 3 years. I was in it for a couple of years, but 3 years every night. And then it just disappeared. It just was gone. We lost the magic. Now, maybe he grew up, maybe he had a child. I don't know, but we both changed. It just wouldn't work. And then the director said, hey man, we're going to have to get 2 other people to do it. It's
just not
working. And he couldn't help us. He said, well, I don't know, he's a director, but so we just stopped it, but we were always, and then 2 other people.
Out of everybody you've worked with, that's who you'd like to work with. That's interesting. Okay.
That's how it worked the best, because it was just magic. We couldn't figure out what the connection was. We just went out there and did the scene, improv, and it just worked like that. Okay, so now let me just think about magic. I would say that the best person you know who the best person was? Well, really big stars. Clint Eastwood was one, and there was another one. His father was a great actor too. Can't remember his name, but I remember the movie. It was called Star Chamber. He was
Jeff Bridges. Jeff Bridges? Was that
it? No, but you're in the right.
I'm in the same thing. Okay, yeah, I know.
I don't know. Anyway, and the reason was the reason that I like with Clint Eastwood and that actor and 1 or 2 others is, and mainly they're quote stars, and I use that meaning really great actors. That's what I mean by when I say star.
Not a
There are stars
celebrity.
that are not stars, not celebrity.
Right.
I mean, they are great actors. Bryan Cranston is one of those. Clint Eastwood is another. He is a great actor. That's not him when you see him.
He just turned
You think it
93
is.
today.
Yeah, and he's
Yeah.
great,
Yeah.
and he still is. But he's an actor. He's acting, and he's just a nice guy off stage. He's a wonderful, okay guy. But him and Cranston, as two examples of what I mean by loving to work with them, is they're very giving, and also the actor who is in Star Chamber. They give you the scene. They help you. They're not there to be a star or to be a celebrity.
Mhm.
They're there to make the scene work, to tell the story. And that's so great to meet people like that, to work with them. So they'll give you the scene because they've discovered this, which I was trying to figure it out, because the more they give you the scene, the more that you have to work in your character. Like say, be Charlie Butts, be old Joe. Go ahead. I'll give you the scene. And what they do is they work on their character works on your energy. The better you are, the more they have to work with. So if I'm, Charlie Butts, Clint Eastwood he's like a cork. He's like here. And if I go, I'm really Charlie Butts, he just goes like that. I mean, and then if you like back off, like just, go under the character, then he goes with you. So it's same thing with Cranston, same thing with that other character. They work off you. The better you are, the better they are. So they want to work with really good people.
And I think that's kind of rare now too, don't you think? I mean, that's when, I think that's the difference between a celebrity and an actor and an actress and whatnot.
Yeah.
It seems like now, you can go out and make a reality TV show about living with a squirrel and all of a sudden you're a celebrity. And don't you think it kind of like waters down all the integrity of Hollywood in general? It's not what you mentioned.
See, that's a beginner's look at Hollywood.
Right.
What I'm trying to tell you is, no, that's Hollywood.
Exactly.
That's it.
Yeah.
You can't. You go in and know, oh, I see, this factory has this in it, and it smells this way. You can't change it. You're working here.
Right.
This is, deal with it, man. And that's what you have to do, and that's what makes you not a better person, but a better actor.
Sure.
If that's what you want to do, to just, you have to learn to adjust. No, you can't wear another costume. You wear this one.
Sure.
And then you have to adjust it. Okay, it makes me uncomfortable. Deal with that. Now, the only time that worked for me, not against me. In other words, I don't want to wear this, so I'm not going to. I drew a line in Annie, or the movie Annie, when I was working with John Huston. Wow.
Who were you? I didn't realize you were an Annie. Well, who did you play in that?
I was the dog catcher. I caught.
Oh, okay,
Andy.
Sure. Yeah, no, okay. I seriously did remember that. Okay, yeah.
But working with John Huston, working with the greats, working with the greats who are really great, that's wow. That's in the book too. But
Sure.
John Huston, he's such a gentleman, such an awe-inspiring gentleman. I don't like to be a fan, but yeah, man, some people just knock you over with how human they are.
Sure.
How Homo sapien they are.
And that's the thing. I think the bigger the stars, a lot of time, the more normal they are. It seems like a lot of these prima donnas really don't have much talent to begin with.
Some have talent and they're still prima donnas. You can't. That's not mutually exclusive. All kinds of combinations. But yes, prima donnas, and you just have to deal with it. I'll tell you who was, and I had to deal with it. Lucille Ball. Prima effing donna. man.
Really? Okay.
But she earned it.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't argue with her.
Yeah.
On any level, she's a star. She's great at what she does. She's the Tina Turner of acting. I
Really?
mean, yes, and I worked with her.
Oh, you don't. Okay.
Yeah, so uh, yeah, she came over to me one time, Lucille Ball. I was working with her. What was the name of the movie? Oh, Yours, Mine, and Ours. That was an early one I did up in San Francisco. That was way before 72. But that was just they hired the committee, and we just had little parts all throughout it. And I had a scene with her. I bagged her groceries. I was a grocery bagger. So no words, just bagging groceries.
Oh, sure. Sure. Yeah. Okay.
But she came up to me later because I would just watch. I was so filled with awe because of Lucille Ball show at the time, and in black and white, and I would just stand off to the side and just watch. And she had a whole weird thing, which Lucille Ball, after each, when they yelled cut, she with James with Henry Fonda. So it was Henry Fonda, Lucille Ball, and me.
Nice.
So great, man. And no words.
Nice
Just
trio.
bagging their groceries. Yours, mine, and ours. So it's bagging groceries. And that was it. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, cut. And once they said cut, now the two of them were totally different. Henry Fonda and Lucille Ball. Henry Fonda would just fade into the wall. He was so shy. He just would go to the nearest wall. This was in a sound stage. He would just go there and he'd just stand there, and just wait until he was ready. They fixed the scene or did whatever they had to do. He'd just stand there. He wouldn't talk to anybody. Just stand there waiting very patiently. And they say, okay, Mr. Honda, Mr. Fonda, we're ready for you. She would take about only 5 steps away from where she was working as an actress in the scene. She'd go boom, 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 boom. And she'd just stand there. And then a whole cluster of, I think it was 3 or 4 workers, her beauty people.
Right.
Her beauty people, her hair person, her makeup person, and her costume person. And I'm sure there was another one to do something, maybe her lipstick. I don't know, whatever. And they would just cluster around her. All were shorter than her. They're about like that. And they would work on her. And she would just stand there and let them and just fuss with her. And they would straighten her costume and put more lipstick on and touch her and do her hair.
So it's kind of like you and I in the morning. Like
yeah. So, but now a lot of the stuff that they were doing and they do it after every shot, every cut. All right, we're ready for you, Miss Ball. But the thing was that, in between shots is maybe 3-4 minutes. That was all. So nothing changed. So they would just pretend. Just
kind of work for their
money,
for their pay.
Yeah, just earning their money. They would just touch her,
So it's filled with a lot of interesting stories. We've got about 60 seconds left, and you've got a lot of stuff to cover here. Where can we get the book? I saw it on
Amazon.com. Amazon.com. You can go and buy it on there. But here's when I opened. When I started the show, and I said I was working on a book. No, I'm working on my second book.
What is that
which is
book?
Not about my life. It's not a memoir. It's a fake memoir.
Fake memoir.
Yeah, it's somebody else's life. I just made up a lot. Well, it's a character that I've been working on for years.
Okay, when's that going to be out? Is it going to be?
Well, in the next year sometime. I'm just working on it now. I'm just writing the character's biography and stuff. But it's a memoir. It's life. It's a homeless person's life.
I'll be darned. Okay. Well, I definitely want to hear more about that when it's finished, but I hope that we can talk in the meantime.
Yeah, sure.
Because I want to know what's going on. Because I say you have so many stories. It's amazing all the stuff that you've worked on and been in, and you certainly have a life history full of Hollywood antidotes, good or bad. And
antidotes, yes,
antidotes, whatever word.
Antidotes. Yeah, well, I have had an interesting life. Yes, I have.
Well, Larry, we're going to come back and do some more, but I want to thank you so much for joining me again here to help me kick off
anytime, Todd.
4. And you're the best. You're the best. And I always love having you on. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot, Todd.
All
Bye.
Right. Bye-bye. And thank you for joining me. Season 4 of Right Mind. I'm Todd Schowalter. And as always, remember, if you don't have a right mind, you don't have a mind at all. Till next time, bye-bye.
This has been the Right Mind Podcast with Todd Schowalter.